Memphis Speedway. Gary Scelzi versus Larry Dixon.
Scelzi loses traction. Oh, and up goes Dixon. My goodness gracious. Oh, my. Another savage accident here in Memphis, Tennessee, on the heels of the Tony Schumacher accident of last evening.
The night before, Scelzi faced Tony Schumacher, who suffered a brutal crash. Now this.
Larry's wasn't as violent, but from where I was sitting, it was as violent as Tony Schumacher's because the car looked like it just exploded into pieces. I was actually dodging debris and coming down from the sky, parts of his body panels and everything else, and saw him go into pieces. And at that time, I thought, you know what, I am over racing, period. I couldn't believe it.
Scelzi is distraught as Larry Dixon is rolled away on a stretcher.
I broke a couple blood vessels in my eye socket, in the one eye, and I think that was, I don't know if it was from my eye trying to leave my head or what the deal was there, but I ended up actually breaking my fibula. My take is that I got knocked out when I got sent up into the air and shot maybe 30 feet into the air, and when I came and hit, I mean, it almost hit straight down. At that point, I really think that's when I got knocked out because my helmet took a pretty hard blow to the roll cage and actually split my helmet. I woke up and they were getting ready to put me in the helicopter. Kept asking everybody, I said, did we win?
Larry was driving away. The race was his. The only reason he didn't get the win is because the car flew across the center line of the racetrack, which disqualified him. But we actually gave Larry the champagne and stuff to kind of, make the moment a little bit better. And we know that Larry actually won that race, so it wasn't our race to win.
Dixon will be back at the wheel 2 weeks later, broken leg and all. These sprint cars don't run as fast, but they have their own set of hazards. To begin with, they're prone to flip. This car flips about 17 times, but who's counting? When it finally comes to a halt, the driver is in need of some medical assistance.
Extends his lead over Brent Kading for third.
But perhaps the biggest danger is fire.
And all of a sudden, motor problems, mechanical problems on the 2M. Oh, a fire in the 2M. Big fire.
Brent Kading's fuel tank erupts and engulfs him in flames.
And Brent Kading rolls, and the track safety crew is there very quickly. Very scary moment on the front straightaway for the veteran Brent Kading as his son Tim runs over to assist.
One wonders what it's like to be on fire. Thanks to the speedy work of the safety crew, he is doused with fire retardant and emerges relatively unscathed.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Brent Kading, who is up. How about a big hand for a very, very scary moment on the part of Brent Kading, who was literally on fire as he came out of that car. Very scary moment on the front straightaway for the veteran Brent Kading.
If it has an engine, it will race. One doesn't usually associate monster trucks with racing, but when called into action, these giant machines are quicker and more agile than expected. But when they lose control, it can be a big-time problem. King Kong gets through the first part of the race okay, but then starts rocking off balance, smashes into two police cruisers, and nothing can be done to prevent the ensuing explosion. is the fire, and the driver who's stuck inside is at grave risk. Fortunately, he somehow manages to escape without getting harmed. At this Class 3 motorcycle race in New Zealand, the riders are going 100+ kilometers per hour. Everything is running smoothly until Wayne Bloxham loses control around one of the tight corners. He goes flying over the hay bales and immediately help rushes his way. Bloxham is badly hurt, unable to move after the crash. He actually had a camera attached to the back of his bike, and this is the view of the accident from that perspective. Bloxham suffers a broken collarbone from this nasty accident. In motocross, the riders always face the danger of colliding along tight turns. But even more dangerous are the high jumps and jarring landings. This rider is knocked silly. Lucky for him, he had a helmet, because without it, he would have suffered serious injury. He'll recover, but not before a massive headache. Coming up, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And a runaway airplane with a mind of its own, here on Sports Disasters. As you can see, this airplane is dented. And this one is in bad shape as well. The crowd, meanwhile, has just witnessed as bizarre an incident as they are ever likely to see. This is the saga of the runaway airplane. Keep in mind that there is no one in this airplane. However, a 13-year-old girl is in its path, and she gets clobbered. But that doesn't stop the plane. Here it is again. Apparently, the throttle stuck, and the airplane began its journey. Destination unknown. Somehow it turned as if targeting the 13-year-old. Believe it or not, the young girl suffers only facial lacerations from what appeared to be a potential catastrophe. This New Zealand beach area is supposed to be off-limits. Speedboats have to make sure they don't get too much air underneath them. Because if they do, they have a tendency to take off like rocket ships. This boat, Miss Budweiser, rocks from side to side and then it blasts off. It turns completely upside down and flies through the air some 300 feet before landing back in the water. Safety personnel are on the scene to help with the rescue. The driver is not badly injured. This race proves how utterly unpredictable speedboats can be. Watch the white boat very carefully. It becomes a passenger on the red boat, literally on it, making for an unintended double-decker traveling machine. The combined weight of the boats finally grinds them to a halt just in front of the nervous crowd. Here's the view from the red speedboat. What a strange sensation it must be for the driver carrying his unwanted passenger. He must think he's sinking. But then it clears. The driver of the white boat is out, and so is the other driver.
Jimmy and I are good. Okay, that's all I really care about. That's racing. And I corrected a second time, and then all of a sudden I saw white on top of me, and I just started shutting down. There was water coming over the canopy. I just tried to turn left, and it took me that long for the boat to stop. I knew I wanted to stop, and I wasn't sure how long I was going because with all the weight on the front, the canopy was filled with water.
As we went in the corner, I saw him, and then when I turned it, I didn't see him again. And as it went up in the air, I thought I was on my head, and then next thing I knew, I was riding on top of him. Once I realized where we were at and why I wasn't coming back down, all I could see is the people getting closer and closer, and at that point, I had everything shut down, and I was just hoping we were going to create enough drag to stop because people were starting to peel off.
Both drivers escape without injury.